Hi everyone, Project 2 is ready. And rather than try to spell everything out in words, I want to take a few minutes and explain what's going on here. And I'm doing it over video because I don't want to have to wait till Wednesday for those of you who want to get started on a little bit earlier. So, this is going to be a somewhat open-ended project. My goal here is to give you a project that you can nudge toward your strengths and your interests rather than just spelling out a list of tasks you have to do. Right, so here's what's going to happen. When you open the project in PrairieLearn, like you just saw on the screen over there, you're going to see a list of 3 data sets. And then look through those data sets, look at the data that's there, what the data is measuring, and pick the one that looks most interesting to you, and then do a few non-trivial analyses. So again, this is part of the vague part. I don't want to pin down exactly what you have to do. Maybe you're going to look for some interesting correlations in the data. That's always a good place to start. But I will say it does need to be something non-trivial, right? I'm looking for something more complex than just taking a bunch of mins and maxes and averages and so on. All right, you can include that, but you need to go beyond that a little bit. And if you look at one of the data sets and you don't see what to do with that, then move on to the other one. That's why I give you a choice of 3. All right, and then after you've done some interesting data analysis, whatever that means for your particular data set, generate a couple of interesting visualizations, a couple of pictures of what you found. And don't worry, I'll talk about a visualization package during class this week, so you're not completely on your own there. And again, because this is designed to be a little bit open-ended, if you have other ideas of what to do with the data, just ask. Right? I'm willing to be pretty flexible here. With one caveat is it does need to be your work, right? This data is out on the internet and is available, and lots of people use it in the classroom. So don't just go hunt down somebody else's project and copy it, or hunt down their project and copy their idea. All right, think through something on your own. And, like I mentioned in class before, be aware that we're watching for copying and stuff like that. So stay away from those things so we don't run into any academic honesty issues. And while we're on that subject, of course, you can't let ChatGPT write this for you. It does need to be your code because the purpose of 500 is teaching you how to write code. There is a time and a place for ChatGPT, but this course isn't it. Now, I do understand that open-ended projects can be a little bit frustrating. I, as a student, always liked to know exactly what I had to do, and so things like this were always a little bit stressful. So let me give you some context that will hopefully make this a little less stressful. So as I'm looking at these projects, here's what I'm trying to do. 1, I want to see what you've learned. Do something that shows me the type of code that you're capable of writing. And to some extent, I want you to learn something new. So we'll be talking about a visualization package. I may show you a few things in Pandas and NumPy. So try some new programming techniques, try a new package. I know it's the end of the semester and you don't have a lot of time, but this does give you the flexibility to get something beneficial out of it that will make your life easier down the road. And as you're doing it, have fun. Again, in the last 2 weeks of the semester, there is a limit to that, but to the extent that you can as you finish up the semester, have fun with this. Take it and do something that you enjoy within the context of the project. And let me mention one other thing. So you do have to open this project in PrairieLearn to see what your data sets are. But if you would rather not do the project in PrairieLearn, if you would rather do it as a standalone or in some other environment, you are welcome to use GitHub. And I'm happy to show you the basics of GitHub if you haven't used it before. So if you come back over here to the project, you see this link down here. If you follow this link, it will create a GitHub repository for you, and then you can put your code in that GitHub repository if you would rather do that than work in the PrairieLearn workspace. Using GitHub is not terribly difficult. It does take a little bit of setup, so let me know if you need some help with that. If you do choose to use the PrairieLearn route, when you open up the workspace, what you will see is you will see 3 folders, and I have put your data, a compressed CSV file in those folders. So your data is there and ready to go if you're working in PrairieLearn. If you're working in GitHub, you will have to copy the data into the repo. And just like with Project 1, these are compressed files because we don't want to take up too much space on the PrairieLearn servers. If you work in GitHub, if you want to store the files uncompressed, that's fine. And then you'll see if you open the workspace that it's pretty bare bones. I have a markdown thing here. I have some code, and you're welcome to use this Jupyter notebook in a very traditional way. You can mix code and markdown any way you like, as you would if you were preparing a presentation in another class. All right, so hopefully that gives you enough to get started. I would encourage you to open the project as soon as you get a chance, take a look at your data sets and start thinking about what you might do with them. Well, actually, let me be clear. You only have to do something with one data set. I'm giving you 3 so that you have a choice. So look at the 3, pick the one that you want to use, and start thinking about some things that you could do with that. All right, take a look. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope the semester finishes up well for you.